Good morning, YouTube. We're near the end of April. There's a little bit of steam rising off of the gravel, and it's still inexplicably gorgeous out. There's a new addition to the yard. Pacific Roots Donuts is coming back. They may be back as soon as this weekend, which I like. Well, we've got a few things to do, so let's get to it. Welcome everyone to North Coast Pinball, where today I have a few projects. There's a few things to get done. In no particular order, we're going to try to clean Iron Maiden. I have some work to do on Mandalorian. I have some work to do on Deadpool. I want to play a little bit. I want to see what's on the printer. It's another one of my Fool's boxes. I have a bigger one now. We started out with these 6x4s. Now I have some 5x10s, so I'm going to make a few more of those. And what else is happening? I have some new artwork contributed by guests to the place. And I think this week the one I'm going to put on the wall is this one. A blank well spent by Micah Vono, who you can follow on Instagram. Thank you, Micah. Let's get this on the wall. I am so grateful for the artwork that our people make when they visit North Coast Pinball. Also, we have a machine review from Luca, who says that Godzilla is the one they're into. Theme, 10 out of 10, because big kaiju is so cool. Playfield layout, 10 out of 10, very fun to play. Rules, 9 out of 10, because I could mostly figure it out. Sights and sounds, 10 out of 10. The machine shakes, says Luca. Yes, it does. Toys and gimmicks, 10 out of 10, a cool movie played. Replayability, lots of kaiju to fight, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, Godzilla is very fun. I could not agree more. Yep. Let me show you Mandalorian real quick. We thought we were finished. I thought I was ready to deliver it to my rental customer, but I noticed a missing screw. Do you see here on this flipper assembly, you have this coil which is held in place by this coil stop, and there are two screws. Well, one of the screws seemed to be missing on this side, and it's not missing. It's broken off. So what I saw was a coil stop installed, one screw, but when you look a little closer, there's a screw that's broken off in there. I don't have a screw extractor, and even if I did, I don't think I would want to use it because of the risk of damaging the playfield underneath. So I'm going to remove 2, 4, 6, 8 screws, loosen this thing like you've seen me do in the past, take this whole thing apart, put some vice grips on the far end of this screw, and get after it, and then replace it with a new screw. So that's part of the plan. And then I want to give you a preview of what's going on with Deadpool. One of my regulars noticed that the slingshots were not working correctly, or at all. In particular, this one is not firing. And I wonder, can you see why? Is there something you can see in there? I know it's a little hard. I'll zoom in the post-production, then you'll be able to see it. Yeah, there's a ball in there. And the reason there's a ball in there is that those rubber bands around the slingshots are the wrong size. So we're going to take that apart. We're going to take the rubbers off. We're going to take the ball out. We're going to put the correct size rubbers in. And then Deadpool will be good. So, thank you for joining us today. Since we're near the beginning of the video, I should say that you should do the things that you do for YouTube content creators, like and subscribe and share, and visit our website, northcoastpinball.com, where you can buy hoodies and t-shirts and stickers and decks of cards and gift certificates and hats and fool's boxes, now in 2 sizes. Okay, let's get to work. So the first thing is to loosen this screw which holds the flipper into place with this fabulous Victorinox mini ratchet. Just keep going until it seems loose-ish. Don't unscrew it all the way. And then I'm going to take all 8 of these wood screws out of the playfield. These are 1/4 inch. I have electric screwdrivers that might be good for this, but I think it's better to just do it by hand. I'm sure they assemble it with electric screwdrivers at the factory, and there wouldn't be any harm in using an electric screwdriver to rip these out, but putting them back in again, I don't know. I think it takes a more human touch. Tell me what you think. Just like that, we are free, and the offending screw is right here. I'm not going to take this to the table because it's, I'd have to unsolder this, and I could if I needed to, but I don't need to. I have here this delightful Leatherman Crunch vice grip, which I'm going to use to grab on to the end of that nut and unscrew it from below. I'm going to grab onto it pretty tight. One of the things about the Crunch that's pretty amazing, oh yeah, is that the Leatherman Crunch has, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this. It has a little groove that's designed for grabbing on to a nail or a screw in that way. Delightful tool, Leatherman Crunch. The only way to get that is on eBay. They don't make them anymore. Eight wood screws out and 8 wood screws in again argues for using the electric screwdriver, and if I was doing this all day, you could bet your last dollar that I would be doing it with an electric screwdriver. Because that's, that's kind of like work. And if you know me, you know that I would like to avoid excessive work. All right, let's not forget the coil stop, the coil sleeve. The flanged end of the sleeve is what finds its way into the nib of this coil stop. So this lives there. Now, if I were really extra on top of things, I would replace this coil stop because it's an original Stern factory coil stop, and it's got some wiggle, some play in it, because this brass is wearing, which I may have said before accounts for the goldish glitter in the bottom of the cabinet. But I am not going to rebuild this flipper until it needs it. Because, as I mentioned a minute ago, you might have heard me say that I try to avoid excessive work when I can. So, coil sleeve through the coil, into the coil stop. Plunger goes in here. Something like that. That's good. And then sort of start over a little bit because my wrench isn't ready. Get your wrench ready ahead of time. Get your screws ready ahead of time. We got 2 screws. We got this little springy washer thingy, which will go on the coil stop. Here we go. Sleeve. By the way, another suggestion would be that you put these lugs away from the point of impact. You see this? The wires go into the coil on the opposite side from where the coil stop is. This is where most of the vibration and impact is. So by putting the wires here and the solder joints here, it's thought that the vibration can have a slightly reduced impact up there. So that's what we'll do. That goes in there. This goes, uh-oh, where's my little spring washer? Here it is. Like so. And this is a little fiddly. You can see the coil stop sticks out from the coil and it lives inside this plate. So we go through the plunger, nestle it so that the coil sleeve makes its way all the way through. And I struggled with this last time. Woo! I just dropped a screw. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I once had a teacher who would say, dear, oh dear, oh dear. He was a British guy. To express his disappointment in his pupils. There we go. All right, I recovered the washer from the screw I dropped, but not the screw. Join me in looking for it, won't you? That approach having failed, we're going to try another approach, which is to bring the playfield down and shake vigorously in hopes that we hear the screw clattering into the cabinet. Yep. Now all we need to do is find it in the cabinet. And if I don't find it, I'll just get another one, but... Ha! Okay. Now we continue our work. I did recover the washer. It is typical to use Loctite on these screws, especially, but there are lock washers here, and I don't want to go and get the Loctite, and I'm going to end up rebuilding these flippers pretty soon anyway, so I'm just going to crank it pretty hard, and we'll put Loctite on these screws when I properly rebuild these flippers. Speaking of electric screwdrivers, certainly the person who broke off this bolt was using an electric screwdriver set to too high a power level. So while I'm here, we'll just crank all these down. And I'm putting a lot of torque on them. Somewhere there's a document that says how much torque you want to put on all this stuff, but I don't have that document. Nor do I need it, it's fine. Okay. Now again, the procedure for adjusting this flipper, which is now just sitting loose, is that we want to tighten this locking Allen screw to the point where there is a little bit of resistance moving the flipper around on that plunge, on that shaft. And then when we start to get a little bit of resistance, we can put it in its correct position and then tighten the rest of the way. So as I gradually tighten this Allen screw, I am feeling the flipper to see how easy it is to continue to maneuver it up and down and in and out continuing to tighten until I get some resistance. And now I have some resistance and I can actually turn by moving the flipper, but I'm also able to reposition the flipper. We want there to be roughly a 1/2 millimeter of play up and down. Something like that, which I will let you see. This whole thing should be able to move in and out, and you can hear it clicking. Not too much, but not so tight that it's wearing away at this nylon bushing that the plunger passes through, or that the shaft passes through. Now we bring the playfield down and adjust the position of the flipper. Wow. Sorry for dropping you, YouTube. Okay. Here is our flipper with up and down play. There is our dimple. And do I talk about flipper position now? I guess I do. Draw a line through this screw to the tip of the flipper. Picture an imaginary line that comes all the way down here. And you would see, if you look closely at the flipper that I did not work on, that if you draw a line through here to here, this flipper is high from the perspective of that. And this dimple says that it's where it should be. Can you see the dimple there? So if I were to lower this flipper so that the tip was along this imaginary line, I would say that the flipper would be in sort of its middle position. As opposed to the scenario where you draw an imaginary line along the in-lane. And if you draw along the in-lane, you end up with a flat surface. That's what this dimple is telling us to do, is that the surface of the flipper is even with the surface of this in-lane. And so that's what we're going to do on this side. Again, drawing an imaginary line from the screw to the other screw. If we were to adjust it that way, then we would want it to be something like, a little lower, something like this. Even lower still. Even lower still. A straight line from here through here to the tip. And if we look at the dimple on the playfield, it's not how the game was designed. So unless I have a good reason to, I'll follow the guidance of the dimple. But there are games that I don't do this on. And let's think about it for a second. And by the way, so that's two possible positions. This one, where we draw the line along the in-lane for an even, flat surface right along here. That would be the highway. Then you'd have the middle way. And then you could have something that you might call flopped, where draw a line from the underside in there. So as the ball goes down here, it's going downhill, which is clearly way below what Stern had in mind for this game. But if you do it like that, there might be reasons. One is that with the flipper raised, it's a lot harder to trap that way. It's not as high. Also, if the ball is coming down here and the flipper is raised, if it's not super high, then you've got a better chance that the ball will jump over and clear this gap so that you can trap it here. So a hop across is easier to do, and trapping is harder to do. So a couple of my games are like that. The easier ones, in my own perspective. But that's not what we're doing today. Today, we're just going to go factory. And that seems about right. Just a little higher. Yeah. Check the play, make sure it's still wiggly, and then lock it down. How much torque? I don't know. till it feels like more would be a mistake. That's how much. If you break the screw or something else, it was too much. And if the flipper comes loose while you're playing it, it wasn't enough. All right, that's done. A quick test maybe? Yeah, let's do a quick test. Let's just see if the flipper still works, yeah? Looks like it works. So, let's get to the rest of our to-do list. Hi.
Hello.
What you doing?
How's it going? Nothing. Looks like I'm cleaning Iron Maiden.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten this part. I haven't gotten the upper field yet.
Uh-huh.
It's my favorite game here, so.
I heard it's the best game in the NCP collection.
That's what it says. It says right here. It's a true masterpiece and the best game in the NCP collection.
Huh.
It's not a lie.
Huh.
Something about this. You can't really see when I'm watching this video on my iPhone. These videos, you can't see that the difference that the cleaning makes. Like there's like a layer of like black soot, and then when you clean it, it goes away. It's like speckled all over. Anyway, I mean, it does.
Oh, yeah.
It does.
I'm not going to reuse that towel.
Yeah.
I might have to wash that one.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah. So I get to do this today.
I'm so happy that you're cleaning Iron Maiden because I don't love cleaning games.
Oh.
And I was thinking I might clean Star Wars today,
Yeah.
but only one game needs to be cleaned in a given day.
Oh.
And so it's you. I love it.
Okay.
Thanks for coming over to my place and cleaning Iron Maiden, Mick.
Oh man, it's my favorite game, and I love this game, and it's really an honor to get to take care of it. And then also, I get to see like the artwork. Like I've never noticed this, like private investigator Eddie, hard-boiled detective cyborg Eddie, you know, or whatever this guy's doing. I don't know. Or this little teeny tiny. Where was he? I was in here. Like, or these little flying cars, or the shout out to the Sand Dune Pub in downtown Manzanita, or this cool little pirate Eddie right here, right there.
I've said this in a prior video, but we have Zombie Yeti to thank for that. Thank you, Zombie Yeti.
Thank you, Zombie Eddie.
Zombie Yeti.
Zombie Yeti, not Zombie Eddie.
That's Zombie Yeti. That's Zombie
Zombie
Yeti. All right, I'm backing away slowly. I'm going to work on Deadpool now.
All right, thanks for working on Deadpool.
Yeah, my pleasure. This will be quick. This will be over before you know it, and then I'll be back to looking over your shoulder. Or maybe I'll build another fool's box, or just, I don't know, eat an apple.
Do these little pieces of artwork, they did not come with the game originally?
Oh, the side art?
Or these, like these
Oh,
little,
no, that's all stock.
eggs. Okay.
Yeah, the side art is made by Stern, and they charge you for it.
Uh-huh.
And the guy I bought it from had already done that.
Okay.
But every little tiny little detail, that's just part of the culture of pinball.
Uh-huh.
Our task is very simple. We have a ball right in there. I mean, the first part of the task is to get it out without destroying stuff. This little switch here is what keeps things from happening. So that's why there aren't any lights lit, and that's why it's reasonably safe for me to have my finger poking around here. So let me get this rubber off, and then we'll take the ball out and then replace the rubber. Woof. Oh. Okay. and I've bent this, so we'll need to readjust what's going on in here. And we have a way to do that. But first, rubber. Can you sit tight here for a second? Sure you can. We have some 2 3/4 inch rings. We have some 3-inch rings. I think what I want is 2 3/4. We also want to make sure that this leaf spring gets action when the ball hits this rubber. And I don't know if you can quite see what I see, but that's not contacting. So if we look at this one, can you see it closing? Even that is not quite enough. So the preferred way to adjust this is with the rubber off and out of the way. And it's fairly common to see these outer leaves sticking way too far out. That's normal. We actually kind of want that, because when the rubber is in position, it will bring these two leaves back to the correct position. What I do need to do is bring this rear leaf and this forward leaf just forward a hair. And I have a tool for that, which looks like this. I've shown you this before. It's got a little slot in it, and there's a right angle version and an oblique angle version, 135 degrees maybe, and that one's 90 degrees. And the theory is that I can use this to get on a leaf and bend it at exactly the right spot. But what I'm going to do is what most people do, which is just use it to reach in here and tweak it as low as I can go. I mean, I could get under the playfield and make a precise adjustment, but I'm just going to kind of hack at it. And if you look at these up close, I don't know if you can see this in the movie, but there are actually 3 leaves on each of these switches. There's the forward one, which gets moved by the ball. There's the middle one that the forward one touches. And then there's a rear one which provides spring tension. And so it's the rear one that I'm going to be bending at in order to pull it forward so that its resting position, that gap, is a little closer. And this is a tedious thing. We just kind of go at it, and I don't feel like I bent it enough, so I'm going to go a little more. And really the right way to do this would be to go at it from under the playfield. And I may have to give up and do that, but can I just get away with this real quick? We're going to find out. Ugh. I don't feel like I'm bending it very much, so I may have to get under and do it right. But I gave those a little poke. Let's see where the rubber ends up. Okay, so as I look at this, oh, I love it. I don't know if you can see this, but we definitely want to see that there is a gap between the forward leaf and the contact that it makes. And we definitely don't want it to have to travel too far to close the switch. And you see as I push on this, the rear one is deflecting. And my intuition is that that's about where we want it to be. So I feel like I got lucky there, and I don't have to open it up. So I'm not gonna, because as you may have heard me say before, I don't feel like I need extra work. Okay, let's look at the other one and see how it compares, because the other slingshot was not as testy as we would like it to be, and we can see why. Do you see this? Can I see it in the movie? Yeah. Look, this leaf is on the wrong side of the rubber, and all of the issues that we're having here, the ball getting stuck behind the rubber, and this leaf finding its way to the wrong side of the rubber, that's all because the rubber was the wrong size. So let's replace that rubber too, and then we can check again to see how that gap looks.
Well, what's the name of that surgical tool that you use?
Oh yeah, you need a hemostat.
I need a hemostat.
We need a hemostat stat.
Stat.
Well, where's my hemostat? Last person to use it didn't put it away.
Last place I saw it was on YouTube.
That's the last place I saw it.
We could look there.
Hey, YouTube.
Leave a comment if you know where we'll put the hemostat.
Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Where's Will's hemostat? Uh-oh. Maybe it's on my desk. I have a little hemostat. I bought smaller hemostats, and then I decided that they weren't any good.
Well, that's great. Maybe all I need.
Yeah, I could get you a small hemostat. I know where those are. Okay. There's one in my Mando. And this one's cool because it's rainbow colored.
Heard that before.
And it's got a curved thingy. The idea behind the curved thingy is that you can reach around, you know, tricky. You can get those nose hairs. If you've got extra nose hairs, I have alcohol little swabs you can use after you pull your nose hairs out. But I tried it and I didn't like that. So
for the nose hairs?
No. Yeah, Mick, for the nose hairs. There's a new level of repartee on the YouTube channel. All right, so this gap, too big. That gap is too big. So again, the correct way is to go under the playfield, use this little lever tool to grab onto that rear spring and turn it in a very precise and careful and coordinated fashion. Or you can do what I and most people do, which is just reach in there with some kind of hook and hack at it until you wreck it or it's right. In fact, you can see what I'm doing through this clear plastic. Watch this. And that was well, it was almost too far, but no, I kind of like it. It could be a little better, but I'm going to call that good enough. That's nice and tight up high. This gap on the lower side is a little longer, but a tight gap up here is cool because when the ball just nudges it, it'll go flying, which is the whole point. Double check this one. Yeah. Let's put all these plastics back on, run a few balls through it, and see how it acts. Here's something to just focus on as well. We want this rubber to be aligned everywhere. There's a groove in this plastic over here. And if it's not aligned, then it will cause trouble later. So you see this one? I don't know if you can quite see that, but in my haste, I didn't get it onto that groove. So that needs to rest right into that little groove there. Okay. How tight? I don't know. Tight enough that it doesn't come loose, but not so tight that you break it.
Time to lose.
Ooh, that's something else.
Flipper buttons to select top lane skill shot.
I have an opportunity to try to figure out why it sometimes ejects two balls. It hasn't done that in a while, but it does sometimes do that. I don't know why.
Hold the left flipper button for super skill shot.
Oh yeah. Okay. See, I did it again. What's going on with that? Dude. All right, well, let's look at diagnostics. And at the end, the ball trough test, CLR, I don't know what CLR means. Clear? Ball trough test. And what the ball trough test does is it's very clever. It tests the ball trough. And if I press the start button, it will eject hopefully one ball and then fire it. And on the screen, we see what it thinks is going on. What it thinks is going on is correct. There are 6 balls in the trough. There is no ball in the shooter lane, and so that switch represents 27, or 27 represents that switch. 26 represents a sensor down in there, which is where a second ball would get stacked. If the balls were piled up in the wrong way, you would see 26 lit. So when I press start, I expect to get one ball, and it shoots it. And I'll do the same thing as you watch the screen. We hit start, and all the balls move down one. A ball finds its way into the shooter lane and gets automatically fired. Again. 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 So in this test mode, I'm not getting any double fires. And then let's go back to play mode. It did it again. And I have a theory. My theory is that it's taking too long after it ejects the ball for it to land in there. Let's do this again. Just drain these. Dude, I do not like that. It's doing it again and again. I'm a little perplexed. Wow. Well, one thing that Stern owners like to do is we like to adjust the power of the solenoid that ejects the ball into this lane. And the reason we like to do that is to prevent excessive wear on this wood. As you will see if you were to look at games like Godzilla, where I don't have any protection installed because I'm not somebody who cares that much about this. But what are we looking for here? Any sort of discoloration, it's not very bad here, is in theory caused by just excessive pounding of a ball landing on that sensitive wood. Do I have another example? Let's see. What about Iron Maiden?
What about Iron Maiden?
Let's see the shooter lane on Iron Maiden. Oh, see, this one has the protection on it too. The whole idea of that piece of metal, which is an aftermarket product, is to prevent excessive wear on there.
Oh, and it looks so funky.
And it looks, well, it looks like it had some kind of, what did you call it? Silicon crystal something?
Oh, well, it says, caution may irritate eyes, but it's because it's got warning this product may expose you to crystalline silica, which is a byproduct of chalk. Like if you have chalk, you got crystalline silica. And so one of the things in this is chalk.
So don't use it to clean your eyes.
Well, yeah.
And that is the most obvious thing we're going to say during this YouTube video. Don't clean your eyes with Novus number 2. It won't help. None of that helps me with why it's ejecting too. But what I was saying is that we sometimes, as Stern owners, like to lower the power of the solenoid that fires a ball out of the trough into the shooter lane. So what I can do is just see if I've reduced the power too much. Because I've got protection here. Let's just go to the factory settings and see if that solves it. And I don't know where it is. Let's find it. There, trough eject power is at 225, which is the factory default. So that is not it. But what if I mess with it? Let's lower it to like 215. This is called not using science to solve a problem. That's crazy. Why is it doing that? Oh, I know why. Well, now I have a scientific hypothesis as to why. One question I like to ask myself is, what would I do to this game to make it misbehave in this way? And what I would do to this game to make it misbehave in this way is install the wrong number of balls. So I kind of doubt that there's 7 balls in here, because that'd be weird. But let's find out. How many balls are in this game? So we go into diagnostics, to the trough test, and we pull all the balls out, and then we can count them. Okay, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll tell you, one of the things I really like about another YouTube channel, it's Joe's Classic Arcade, I believe. It's the one where he starts out and he says, "Welcome to another cool arcade repair video." And he's amazing because he does what I do, only he does it so much better. And what I really like watching Joe, no, it's not Joe, it's his brother mainly. Joe shows up on camera too, but his brother, whose name I can't remember, will repair an asteroids or a pinball or whatever, and he'll do it in real time, as I try to do. And he'll stop and he'll say, and then he'll just figure it out. So that's my homage to Joe's Classic Arcade, a link to which you see above the top of the screen, or down below, or wherever we put things on YouTube. Yeah, so how about we put the right number of balls in it? That's a good idea. Let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know what to do with this.
Okay. Well, I feel like I've basically gotten all of the surfaces touched with a cloth and Novus, except for the upper parts of these ramps, these curves. I can't seem to get anything in there. Maybe I'll fish a paper towel through there.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could take those plastics off. They're just nylock nuts.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Right.
But there's plenty of people who, when they work on a game, will go to that level of detail, without a doubt.
I mean, what I really want to do is make it easier on myself to get shots to go around these ramps.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I clean it, I'll reduce the friction, even if it's by just a minuscule amount, and I'll get that many more ramp shots successfully.
I have said this in a prior video, but something that George Gomez has said is that if you really want to do that, believe it or not, this is the stuff to use.
Oh man, I love that stuff.
Put this in, seriously, do not use WD-40 on your games. Do not use it to lubricate things. Do not use it to make your shooter rod go faster. Do not put WD-40 on your pinball machine.
Nope, don't do it. Except for these tiny pieces of metal up here, because it's metal.
Because it's metal, and what it does is it cleans it excessively.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I heard George Gomez say this on a podcast. So go clap back at George Gomez if you think this is wrong. But the recommendation I made the last time we talked about this is you squirt a little bit on a paper towel, and then you rub the paper towel on the metal, and then see if it goes faster.
All right.
Do not put WD-40 on your pinball machine.
Don't put WD-40 on your pinball machine.
All right. Deadpool is good. I'm going to put it together and then decide what else to do. I feel like I've done enough. That might be enough for the day. Okay. You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to play Deadpool.
Heck yeah, play some Deadpool, y'all.
A little backstage tidbit is that you're watching future me because past me had a really good game on Deadpool, but didn't record from past me's phone. So we're going to play it again and see how it goes. And then I'm going to splice this into the video before the outro, which I've already recorded, none of which is important to you at all, but I am an oversharer, so I've just shared that. Let's play Deadpool. Balls up! Hey, look, it's only serving up one ball at a time. That's what I wanted. I would like to start a battle with Sabretooth. Sabretooth is the easier one of the three. And while I try to do damage to Sabretooth by getting up at the top section up there where the pop bumpers are, I also kind of want to hit Little Deadpool without draining, because if I can get a multi-ball going, that would be cool. And Little Deadpool is an easy multi-ball to get started. And look how beautifully those slingshots are slinging. We like that. That's a shot to Little Deadpool. One more of those and I can get Little Deadpool going. Let's get up into Little Deadpool for multi-ball. That's a lock. That's good. Uh-oh. Okay, that's the first ball. How about another battle? Let's resume our combat with Sabretooth.
Battle. I'm gonna
Little Deadpool? No. There we go. One more hit to Little Deadpool gets multi-ball happening. Like that. And I am not going to aim for those drop targets to release multi-ball. What I want instead is to lock balls or do damage to Sabretooth, because I have a ball save active right now. And so I want to leverage that ball save and make shots until the timer expires, and then I'm in Little Deadpool multi-ball, which is happening right now. And I still want to get the ball up high. Oh no, I don't. I want to finish him by hitting the scoop. Now I've beaten him, so even if I lose the ball right now, I've defeated him. But I get extra points if I can hit that scoop before the timer runs out. Too late.
Deadpool wins.
You're extinct, my dim pal.
We could get a mystery award. That'd be good. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's ball two. All right, what else do we want to accomplish? It would be good to get multi-ball going. It would be good to have another battle. It would be good to get a mystery award at the scoop. So really, scoop is where it's at right now. Scoop is where it's at right now. Oh, it's gone, it's over. Well, that was not the 188 million I got last time, but it's gonna do.
You're letting me down. I don't handle
That's enough for now.
disappointment well.
So, over there's the guy who was complaining that I didn't put any gameplay in one of my videos. He's like, where's the gameplay?
Yeah. Where's the gameplay?
Yeah, nice light you got there. I'm gonna give you the other light back. All right, I'm gonna stop recording here, but I might do an outro, or maybe I'll just do the outro now, because I'm on a roll. And y'all will be really impressed if this is all just one big long cut, right? So this is where I say thank you for watching the video. If you watched the whole thing, thanks for watching the whole thing. Today's tidbit is that our friend Win has persuaded me to write a zine about North Coast Pinball. Microcosm Publishing is where I get all these zines. And Win is like, you need to write a zine. And so I'm going to do that for reasons that I might elaborate on someday, but not today, because it's already, we're probably almost an hour in. This feels like it might be a slightly shorter video. Y'all are averaging 3 minutes of watch time per video I make. And so if I can get it up to like 4 minutes, if you watched 4 minutes of this video or more, then you are my true fan, and I love you and I appreciate you. Anyway, come visit us in Nehalem, where it is still glorious and beautiful out, my goodness. And thank you for tuning in to North Coast Pinball. And goodbye, YouTube.